What's up, Teens Run? Happy Wednesday. Today for Run Club, I am going to be slowing things down a little bit. We're going to be walking you through a couple of very common exercises that I see a lot of people doing incorrectly, and these are some exercises that are really important to have good form with. So I wanted to slow things down. We're going to go step by step, walk you through what exactly you should be doing for these exercises so that you can practice them and practice them with good form. So the exercises that we're going to talk about today are the plank and front/backward lunges. So we're going to start off with the plank. Let's get started. So when we're first getting set up for a plank, we can either be positioned with our hands on the mat, like I show you here, for an advanced version, or you can be positioned as normal with your forearms and elbows on the mat like here. You can have your arms crossed like I just did, or you can lay your hands flat on the ground like I show. Now, the most important part of the plank form is your back. I want you to think about creating an imaginary flat line from your back all the way to your feet. This is what we mean when we say we want to keep your back in neutral position, meaning that you are not collapsing or arching your back. And I also want you to make sure that your elbows are in line with your shoulders and not too far in front or behind. If you focus on maintaining a really nice and tight and strong core, this will help with your form. Now, if you're holding a high plank position, which is a little more advanced, we want to again be sure that our back is nice and flat. And even more important here is that our hands are placed right underneath our shoulders. So here I'm going to show you some common mistakes that people make with the plank. And the first error is, like I said, very common, and that is going to be arching your back. So people have a tendency to do this to relieve some of the tension off of their core, but when you do this, you're no longer strengthening those abs anymore, which is the whole purpose of the exercise. So compared to the flat back that I had previously in the last clip, this is incorrect because you can see that I'm lifting my butt in air and creating an arch, which is what we do not want. The opposite is also true, is also incorrect. By collapsing my back and sinking my butt to the ground, this again is taking the work off of the abs, and now I'm putting a lot of stress on my lower back, which can lead to some bad injuries. One last mistake is placing your hands or your elbows too far out in front of you so that your hands are no longer directly underneath your shoulders, which is something that we don't want. So real quick again, just to compare, here I'm showing you the proper form by having my back nice and flat, as you can see, and keeping my elbows and hands directly underneath my shoulders. So we're moving on to the lunge, which is a great exercise for dynamic warm-ups or for strengthening your legs, but you gotta know how to do it correctly. So we have the step forward, and right here is where we really want to focus on keeping our knee and ankle aligned. So I have a nice straight line all the way from my knee to my ankle. I'm also making sure not to hinge at my hips and lean forward. Instead, my torso is tall and straight, and I'm keeping my core nice and tight. So once again, just one more time, we have the lunge forward. My toes do not go over my knees, and I use my legs and not my back to return to starting position. For the reverse or backward lunge, our form should stay exactly the same. My ankle is directly below my knee, and my torso is standing tall and upright. Lastly, I know it's a bit difficult to see here, but when we are doing the lunge, you also want to make sure that your knee is over our ankle and not moving side to side. Now for some mistakes that you might be making with the lunge. A common error is lunging too far forward and leaning backwards into the lunge. Although you can see that my knee and ankle, they're still nicely aligned, my back is leaning way too far backwards. And here it is again, not keeping my back straight and tall, which is bad. Now the opposite, once again, is also incorrect. Here I'm leaning too far forward, so I'm hinging forward at my hips. You can also see that my knee here is jutting really far forward past my ankle, and this can really put a lot of stress on the knee and lead to some gnarly knee pain if you make it a habit. So again, I'm leaning too far forward with my body, and this causes my knee to protrude past my ankle, which is not good form. Alright, I hope you all found that somewhat useful. Definitely important to make sure that we do have correct form when we are performing these kinds of exercises, because we don't want to get injured. So things like overstepping that lunge or arching our back during the plank, they can lead to injuries for our back, our upper body, our knees, our legs, all of the above. So that's why we want to make sure we're doing these exercises correctly in order to get the most benefit out of them. That's the end of our Run Club for today. Like I said, I hope these were helpful. Make sure if you need to look at a mirror when you're practicing these exercises, then do so. So grab a mirror, look at yourself while you're practicing them to make sure that you're not overstepping or arching your back during the plank. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of the week, and just emphasize what we learned in Lunch Club. I hope you all have a restful week as well. Till next time, see you all later.